Mic check, 1 2 1 2. See you, everyone. How we sounding out there? We sound good? Everything okay? Oseo, Levante, how you? Sean, what's going on? How are you? Oseo, Jay Dizzle, Oseo, Gary. Oseo, Nathaniel. Oseo, Jody, how y'all doing? CEO Ball Styles in the building. A little bit muffled. Oh, wow. For real? It sound muffled. Hold on. Two. What about now? But oh, let me turn that music down. What about now? Yeah. What it sound like right now to y'all? We sound good? OCO, everyone. Is low. Volume is low. Hold on, let me work on that. What about now, y'all? We sound good right now? Everything up to par? The levels are good. Can y'all hear me real good? Wait, okay, there go my chat. Oh, CO Thunder Bear, how you? I saw CO Ball Styles in the building. Let me drop a bomb for y'all. What's going on? A little low? Loud and clear. Nah, hold up. Tell me, y'all. Is it a little low or is it loud and clear? Sound perfect? Loud and clear. All right, bet. Couple lows. Once you raise the volume, you'll be okay. A little low. Hold on. Huh? All right, hold on. Okay, yeah, I had to move some stuff around in my office, man. So it's not, I gotta adjust all my settings all over again. So it's not as quite as it was the first time, like, or the other times. But yeah, I'm gonna tighten all that up here. But yeah, man, there's a couple things we gotta get into. Oh, see you, everyone. Smashville, what's going on, brother? O Block in the building. Chi-Town in the building. It's a Turtle Island thing. I like that. Amani in the building. What's going on? How you? I know it's early. I know I ain't, I should have went later, but I got a couple things I got to do later on, and I'm not sure what time I'm going to get back in here. Florida in the building, Georgia in the building, Detroit in the building. Virginia in the building. What up, Virginia? Brooklyn in the building. Orlando in the building. Connecticut in the building. Memphis Teen in the building. Austin, Texas in the building. Memphis in the building. Flint, Michigan in the building. Southeast in the building. Southeast DC. DC, what up? Durham, North Carolina. See, I got a feeling that y'all made me turn up my microphone sky high, and y'all know how I get later on. And when I start raising up my voice, man, I don't want that thing to be peaking. I might have to turn this thing back down. I know it don't sound as it was before, but I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. I'm gonna make some adjustments on the fly. See, I got all analog gear, so I have to go on one side of the table and then another side of the table. Yeah, man. Naptown in the building. West Virginia in the building. Yeah, the great Southeast. You are South, right? we just skipped the O and the U. Guyton, Georgia. Milwaukee in the house. Turn it down a little bit. Yeah, I am going to turn it down a little bit. They made me blast this thing sky high. Hold on. Let me turn this down because I know how I'm going to get. Hold up. Should be good now, right? That's more level. I can see that my level's looking pretty decent. You know what I mean? And if I get the yelling, I'm gonna be up here, and I don't see it hitting in the red. I don't like hitting in the red. Wait a minute, where we at? South Dakota in the house. Cleveland, Ohio in the house. Sacramento, California in the house. We dropping on y'all. Appreciate y'all. Inglewood, North Carolina in the house. What's up? Hold up. North Philly in the, hey man. Philly. We gotta talk, Philly. When this is, we gotta talk for a second before we get into the segment, y'all. Sound going in and out. Yeah, because I'm going away from my microphone a little bit. Like if I'm back here, I have a noise gate, so it's going to sound like I'm low until I come up on the mic. Yeah, I don't want it to peak. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be looking at the levels. If I see myself peaking, that's a no-no. That's a big no-no. I'm gonna turn it down. I turned it down though, but I may have to turn it down one more time. We'll see. You sound really low with my earbuds. They're turned all the way up. Okay. Oh, hold on. I think I know why. Hold on. Because see, once again, I had to readjust all my settings. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to do it right now. Wait a minute, y'all gonna hear some feedback in a second. All right, one, two. Hold on 1 second. One, two. Yeah, okay, I can't go too loud because it's gonna make me peak. I don't want that to happen, y'all. I'm gonna adjust my settings. Once again, I had to move stuff around in my office, so I'm gonna fix all that. I'm gonna tighten it back up later on. I'm gonna tighten it back up. So that means I'm gonna make sure that, you know, certain things are not gonna be louder than me, so I won't have to be screaming over top of that just so you can hear me. I'm gonna be looking at the levels for sure. Still low. Oh, let me pull this up. Hold up. Let me hear what y'all hearing. Hold on 1 second. Let me hear what y'all hearing. Do my test real quick for myself real quick. This is where the level's at right now. Let me see if I need to adjust it. Oh nah, we good. We good. Those levels are good. Those levels are excellent. It sound good on my side. It sound real good, actually. Yeah, I got my my gain is up at where it's supposed to be. Luckily, I have everything marked with a marker, so I know if I'm doing too much. You know what I mean? I got all the analog gear marked, so I won't go overboard. And I screenshotted all my settings, so I won't forget. I got a cheat sheet. Oh, see you, everybody. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hold on. This one. Oh man, look, all that time, and here it go. Let me get ready to switch screens real quick.
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet.
This brother, he is raising some serious questions.
He's here to make you think.
What I'm trying to do is get our people to understand that we have been lied to all the way around about our history. Can you name any other group of people, no matter their skin complexion, that are being labeled primarily as the name of two continents? Not two countries, two continents. That is called a misnomer, which is the act of applying a wrong name to some person or thing.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes.
I want y'all to check out somebody named Dane Calloway. Dane Calloway? Look into Dane Calloway. He has a lot of information about how this whole shit was told in reverse. Okay, where they say, oh, we came from Africa over here. No, a lot of us was already here.
And information that was put together by a man by the name of Dane Calloway, who is also questioning the slave trade. And he's done some remarkable videos on the history of the slave trade in the United States. And he's gone back down the food chain and gone back down the line, and he's realized that a lot of the so-called African Americans in the United States are not African at all. They're actually Native Americans, because the slave trade did not happen the way we were told that it happened.
It's Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway. Go and watch this man's channel, man. This dude is phenomenal, and he don't get the accolade and his flowers right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude gives some powerful information, some common sense. Go dig deep and research. Maybe even have to spend a couple dollars on research if you truth seeking. Not fact checking, truth seeking. Because there's a difference.
It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
Turn it up. Look, 100 years after 100 years, they done lied to us about this and that. Told us all we from Africa. I made fiction characters turn into facts. Heard your time and then it was not. Knowing goddamn well that trick was capped. My wife and I wrote a book about it. It's a book with knowledge, evidence, and fact. And my other book got them haters shook, cause it's helping my people take a closer look at their backgrounds in the background, showing my people where they supposed to look. Showing my people where they get it from, where they hit it from, all sorts of angles. When it comes to this research, you must please first. Don't trust strangers. Find out all of your own. That's what I highly recommend and suggest. And if you're looking for answers and content about me, I highly recommend you the best. Which is my website at the link you see just across the screen. Don't let it miss you. I make it simple. I double down on that black and white. It's so official.
Here we go. Okay. Mic up, my mic up here. So, OCO everyone. I appreciate y'all. You know, it's a lot of stuff I'm going to be talking about, but I got to make something perfectly clear, y'all. To the people, matter of fact, let me do a moment of silence, okay? For the people that lost their lives due to that tornado in Alabama and Mississippi. Let me mute the music real quick. I'm going to give them a moment of silence for the people that lost their lives. Moment of silence for the people that lost their lives in Mississippi and Alabama. Some in Texas also. Okay. All right. Man, that's a lot of weather modification, a lot of stuff going on when it comes to not only weather modification, but what they're doing to the food as well, and what they're doing to the water. Mic is low. I just listened to myself. Hold on, I'll check. But I doubt very seriously that I'm low right now. Testing. 1 2 1 2. Mic is low. Nah, it's alright, I know what's going on. My mic is good, but it's like, let me turn this once again, all my settings gotta get rearranged, but try your best to hear me out. I mean, if you may need to turn it, some stuff up, but on my side, if I turn it up any higher, I'm gonna be peaking. I can tell you that right now. I'm gonna be definitely peaking. Wow, dang, yeah. I mean, Dana. Dana Michelle, or Dana Mitchell. I hope I'm pronouncing that clearly. I appreciate you, sis. Sister. Thank you so much. That's huge, man. That's huge. Yeah, my background music ain't supposed to be doing nothing like that. Yo, two. What about now? See, that's probably peaking. I know it is. But what about now? Like, we good right here? Is that good? Now I turned it up. I see I'm in the red, but what about now? If y'all okay with me being in the red, that's better? Mic is straight? All right. Don't be getting on me in the comments talking about something. He's screaming. Don't get on me. But look, I wanted to talk to y'all about something very serious. Okay, we already know about the tornado situation. I believe they said it was like 26 people that lost their lives. And we just did a moment of silence for those people. But it's multiple things that they're doing in Mississippi that my wife and I are going to go over. Remember, I published a video not too long ago letting you guys know that some Jim Crow laws are still in effect. And now they're trying to bring back Jim Crow itself in Mississippi by way of law again. And this is what I was warning people. I was like, listen, look, don't let them do this. But here they are. Now, our people got to come together and actually say something about it to stop it. Because it's a lot of people that are in place, like, passing legislation to make a modernized version of Jim Crow become law, where it's a few things. Actually, I don't have all of them in front of me, but I remember, and I'm going to recall, and I could be wrong on this note, okay? So don't quote me on this, but I remember, like, if a lot of this stuff is taking effect inside of an area that's mainly people of color, they're trying to say that they're trying to dumb down the crime in this particular area. And I forgot the name of that county. I don't have the name of it in front of me, but it's a lie. They're just trying to come up with excuses to lock more people up. That's something we got to tackle. And here's another thing that just recently came up yesterday. Yeah, Hines County. I believe that's it. I knew it started with an H. I don't know if it was Jackson. I think it started with an H, y'all. I think it is Hines County. But once again, I don't have that right in front of me right now. But that's something that we do need to, battle against. And those people down there need our help. If you have some things that you can do or can provide, as far as help is concerned, reach out to me on the 13% server. The link is in the description, and sometimes you'll see the moderators will post the link. It's free, and reach out to me like directly right then and there, and let me know what you can do to help them. Like, this is the reason why I'm trying to put together a team of legal people. I'm gonna just say it that way. I'm not trying to call them lawyers or attorneys, but you know, and it's happening. I've been talking to people agreed. You know, we're trying to get some things together on that side to help our people out, because people like the NAACP are not going to do anything because Black Lives Matter is not for us. We need people to step up and actually do something for those people, because they're passing this legislation and it's horrible. It doesn't work in our people's favor that live in that particular area. Oh, it's in Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, that makes sense. That's why they said Jackson. So Hinds County, Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, that makes sense. So keep in mind, I'm not from there, so I don't know, but I appreciate that. Scrooge Greedy, thank you for upgrading the membership. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Drop a bomb for y'all. Drop a bomb for you. We appreciate that. But yeah, that's something that we do have to tackle. So if you want to, you know, reach out to me or reach out to any of the moderators inside of the 13% server, please do so. Especially if you're trying to do something about it, or you're willing to do something about it and you know that you can. Dre OG reacts. I'm gonna drop a bomb for the brother. That's a big dono, bro. I appreciate you, Dre. That's huge, brother. Matter of fact, double up on that.
It's up.
What's going on, brother Dre? I appreciate that, man. That's love right there, brother. That's love. And those out there that, you know, I love that y'all showing him love in the chat too. And those of you out there that's actually trying to do something, we are in the 13th. It's free. You do not have to you don't have to pay for anything, actually. It's free. You just got to download the app. That's one thing you got to do. It's safe and secure. I got that security on top of security on that thing. So it's no joke. But I want to do things, you know, especially things that I can do. And if it's something I can't do, I'm trying to have people with me that, you know, that possibly could do something. I want them right there where I could just make a phone call like, yo, we got this going on. Let's pull up at this spot. I'm not trying to say our plans out in the open. Y'all know how I am. I'm not trying to give out the plans, but I'm just trying to give y'all ideas of what's taking place, what's been taking place. Of course, the land was at the top, but I think protection for our people needs to be like number one, honestly, because there's so many things happening to our people. And it doesn't make sense. All our people are doing is just sitting back, letting it happen. And for example, and I gotta use this as an example. I just posted a short to my Instagram and my YouTube channel. Now I'm looking at my Instagram chat. Let me tell you what the video is about. The video is about, you should remember my video that I recently posted on the way our people are being treated. Okay, you know, by other people outside of our own race, right? And I'm saying that we need to step up and say something about it. We need to have pride in our own people to say, hey, we're not going to tolerate any disrespect from nobody, not even our own people. It doesn't matter if you're joking or not. And speaking of joking, inside of that video, I played a clip of South Park, the cartoon. That's a famous cartoon where they, you know, created a video game detailing how the character of that particular video game is able to make their life easy or all the way to difficult by way of their skin tone. And I'm showing people, you know, that they're showing people that the darker the hue, the more difficult their life becomes. And that is a slap in our people's faces. Now, certain people were on the Instagram and my YouTube channel laughing at that because they take that as a joke, in which it can be a joke. Oh, y'all know you being too sensitive and blah, 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 blah. But here's the problem with that. When you allow people to continuously make fun of you, nobody's going to take you serious. And this is a reason why I used the example in that video that the gay community band together and got stuff done. And you better not say nothing bad about them or you'll get canceled. In more ways than one. You'll lose your job. Now, certain people, when they do certain nowadays, now this just recently started happening. Nowadays, when they use racial slurs, they get put on blast because social media is high up on, people are looking at it nowadays. But just not too long ago, I'm gonna say like a few years ago, that wasn't put on blast where a person could get fired. They gotta go take a class, or whatever it is. What I'm saying is that it's nothing in place for our people to protect our people from people doing wrong to us. And it's always racial based. It's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but it has to be that way because racism exists. Prejudice exists. Like, it's no getting past that. That's something that's real. But everybody else got their protection in place. As soon as you say something about a Jewish person, you'll lose everything, right? Look what happened to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people. Now I ain't got to name names. We can see what happened to, not Oprah. What's the other lady's name? Whoopi Goldberg, and what they tried to do to Kanye and what they tried to do to Kyrie as, recent examples. But what I'm saying is that when somebody talk about us in a joking manner, and we don't take it as a joke, what is in place for our people to say, hey, we're not going to tolerate that. We're going to reprimand you for that. Nothing is in place. Nothing. And that's what I want to change. That part right there has to change because nobody would take us seriously if we don't take ourselves seriously. They're not. So no matter what you're trying to do, you want reparations, you want equality, it doesn't matter. See, and that's another thing. We've been fighting for equality for years. And the reason why we haven't gotten it is because we didn't demand it. Now, keep in mind, they disband the Black Panthers. In the beginning, the Black Panthers were strapped up, trying to make it known, hey, look, we're banding together to protect our people and what matters to them the most, okay, and what's going to work in our favor the most. Don't worry, we're not coming after you, we just protecting our people. Now, of course, the alphabet people took it as, as a threat. And that shouldn't happen nowadays. Yeah, they didn't disband the KKK. And on top of that, they expanded. The KKK expanded. That's right, Imani. They all over the place. They're politicians. The news media. They're in social media, controlling the narrative. Some of them PR execs, some of them lawyers, some of them judges, some of them police officers. They expanded. So they don't even got to wear the badge. But what I'm trying to say is that everybody else got their club but us. And we do see, that we supposed to have NAACP working in our favor, but I can't name me. With me being in my late 30s, I can't name a time where I could recall that NAACP did anything for our people so far in my time period. Now, in the past, when I look it up, I don't see NAACP doing anything but just being NAACP. Now, they gonna say that is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. But I told you that it was actually called the National Association for the Advancement of Certain People. Certain people. They are in place for certain reasons, not what you would think. And they only doing it for certain people, not for what you may believe. And on top of that, it's a lot of people that are involved with the establishment and the cultivation of the NAACP who are not so-called colored. Now, is it anything wrong with that? Well, that would depend on what their personal agenda is. What we see so far is that they don't have nothing in place that will help us. Now, they got many chapters, just like how Black Lives Matter did. You know, Black Lives Matter, the organization, had many chapters. Black Panthers had many chapters. But the only people that I can actually look back in history and say that somebody actually did something was Black Panthers. That's it. And then they infiltrated that organization and boom, it was over with. People got locked up, people were killed that were inside of their organization. Black Lives Matter was a big distraction. And honestly, NAACP, I'm just saying, can y'all recall anything that the NAACP has done? And then with these these so-called HBCUs would do was back them up. And the only reason why they are backing them up, yeah, Fred Hampton was a monster. My goodness. Fred Hampton was the best one to me. But the HBCUs would just back up the fact, that NAACP has that name, colored people in it. And that's it. Like, I'm thinking about, okay, so what did they do? What did it amount to? Okay, they established an organization for the advancement of colored people. But when did any of that take place? Like, I mean, think about it. It's in their name. Advancement of colored people. Where was the advancement? Where did that? I'm just saying, somebody help me with that. I don't see anything that they did when it comes to that note. So what I'm going to do, I'm not trying to slap my name on something or anything like that. For me, that's not what it's about. For me, I'm trying to get real serious people together so we could be all on one accord fighting for a particular cause. Now, certain people could do certain different things, but you have to be aware of the fact that we got to be aware of what you can bring to the table. When I mean we the people, not the government. I'm talking about us. So when you get into the 13% server, when you get into the 13% community server, and actually I'm going to go in, I'm going to check with a couple people to actually set it up where you get to have, like, it could be real easy for you to just state who you are, state where you from, and state what you could do, what you could bring to the table, what you could professionally do. Okay? Not know, oh yeah, man, but I used to, take off tires, and not what you used to do, what you can do. What could you bring to the table right now? Now, once again, the reason why I said the 13%, the reason why I use that number, once again, I got to repeat this for certain people that don't like that number. I throw that number right back in their face because they know for a fact that it's way more of us than them. Okay? Way more of us than them. We make up way more than 13% of this population here in the U.S. and even the world. But just sticking to the U.S., I'm going to just throw it back in their face. That's a number that's like, all right, you saying we 13% of this, 13% of that, say no more. We're going to show you what 13% is. And it's only going to take 13% of our own people to get something done because everybody else is going to follow suit. The reason why certain people are stagnant right now, at a standstill, not really moving, is because they don't see other people moving. People coming up with abbreviations for what they want to be represented as. I don't want to be represented as an abbreviation. Like, what is that going to change? What is that going to do? What type of statement is that making? What other group of people are being represented by an abbreviation? Think about that. Think about that. We got to go bigger than that. With the way we represent ourselves is us coming up and showing up for ourselves and putting things together that's going to literally advance our people to the forefront in which we should be. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that we got to be in front of other races. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we, as our own group of people, got to be in the front because we way at the bottom. Not only with just everybody else, but even ourselves. And then when somebody like me think like this, and you out there, and certain people don't like the fact that you thinking like how I'm thinking, ignore them. Ignore them. Bypass them. They're in the way. They're a distraction. Leave them alone. I don't care if they're your friend or family member. It's that serious. Because it's either they gonna get down or they gonna lay down. And I'm not the type to lay down unless it's with my wife. And I ain't gonna go too far after that, okay? I'm gonna just drop a bomb after that. That's the only time I'm gonna lay down. But I'm just saying, there's so many things that we gotta change. But I'm looking, and once again, I'm looking, and I don't see nobody moving. I see a lot of talking, but I don't see nobody moving. Now, it's fine if you're doing it behind the scenes because you do not want to let your right hand know or your left hand know what your right hand is doing, or vice versa. Now, what that means is you don't necessarily got to let anybody on the outside know what we got going on in the inside. You don't. In fact, that was the reason why they were able to take down Malcolm X. They were able to take down Fred Hampton. They were able to take down Martin Luther King because they put everything out in the forefront. And that's the problem. They put the moves out in the forefront. When Martin Luther King came out and said that we coming to get that check, they was like, oh, no. We gotta stop this nigga. He about to cause some commotion. And Martin Luther King had the biggest following of them all. So they had to stop him. Now, that's the reason why I said, yeah, it was easy for them back then to pinpoint who the leaders were back then. But this time around, we can make it way difficult. Why? Because everybody has to be leaders. In this sense. Like, right now, we got to do more than just step with one foot. We got to put both feet forward. We ain't even got to walk in military fashion. We could start running right now towards our goal. We don't got to walk. We don't got to jog. We could run towards our goal right now. Goals, plural, right now. It's up. It's up.
It's go time, Slim.
Now, what I was saying also, what I didn't like that I saw, that I see a lot of our people, for example, that look like you and I on YouTube, are not mentioning the fact that they came out and stated that the Philadelphia officials were saying that the drinking water was remaining safe for now. Their key words was for now, after a chemical spill in the Delaware River. Keep in mind that affects Delaware, Philadelphia, New York, and who else over there? Hold on. And New Jersey. And I was like, and they was telling them that they recommend the people of Philadelphia to use bottled drinking water from 2 p.m. yesterday until further notice. They said contaminants have not been found in the system at this time, but this is out of caution due to a spill in the Delaware River, saying that could possibly change. Now, here's my thing, y'all. Here's my thing. And this ain't got nothing to do with no conspiracy theory. Just think about this for a second, y'all. If they putting something in the water, all of a sudden, something fall in the water. They telling you to drink from bottled water, right? You know, they telling you to cook from bottled water. They still trying to test the water to make sure it's not contaminated. They not going to know something until later on, right? Think about this for a second. What about you showering? I mean, with your pores open, You taking a shower or a bath? Huh? What happened? I'm just saying. Why they didn't say that? Yeah, people gonna cook and clean with that water. And I mean, I don't drink tap water, but I'm just saying, people cook and definitely bathe with tap water. Like, I was surprised that they didn't mention that part. That's alarming to me. This was just yesterday. Pores wide open. Once again, even though the city of Philadelphia came out and said this, y'all, the people in New York and New Jersey and Delaware also have to be aware, because that's what the river, that's where y'all getting your water from. Now, my thing is that how come they not also exposing who contaminated that water? Where did that contamination come from? Where's the source? How did that happen? Was it an accident? How come we don't know more information about something so major that could affect thousands of people, if not millions? Why is that part so quiet, but you want to hurry up and tell people what they could do just in case something does happen? But you're not telling them everything, one. Two, you're not telling them everything about what happened. It seems like to me that you have something to hide. You want to control the narrative. You're going to put a sprinkle of something out there to hopefully calm the people down from, going irate. And what they should do, hold on, matter of fact, this just came up. What they should do is not only sue the people that contaminated the water, they should sue the government for not protecting the water from being contaminated. Like, I said this before years ago, where they did that BS in Flint, Michigan. The residents of Flint, and that's another thing, y'all. We got to protect them. Do you know for a fact that governor knew what he was doing in Flint, Michigan, and let it happen? Let it happen. For years, they were drinking. Listen, this is not even a game. And it was only affecting our people, not their people, our people. Now, who gonna stand up for our people? Our people. And certain people did. They came over there in trucks and started dropping off bottled water. Do you know the police officers stopped them? Started locking people up and confiscating the bottled waters they were bringing over there to Flint, Michigan? This is real talk. And see, that's because, and where NAACP at? Where they at? How come that ain't no lawsuit in place to sue that ass for letting that happen? We don't know how many people were quietly affected, and we also don't know how many people didn't die because they were contaminated. I've been looking at, I was scoping that for years, seeing if numbers were ever going to come out, and I never seen a number. And shout out to Flint, Michigan, y'all. Shout out to I love y'all, man. I love y'all. I really do. And I know I'm only one person. I just wish something could have got done right there. But that's why I know protection got to be number one. And I ain't talking about just military and, you know what I'm saying? But if you got some background in them, you know what I'm saying, and some training in military, and you got to hit me up. I mean, if you know Taekwondo, karate, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You train for MMA, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need all them. Our people need bodyguards. I'm just saying, just imagine if Farrakhan, for example, sent the FOI down there. Them police officers couldn't have did nothing. I'm just saying, if I was in Farrakhan position, the whole FOI would have been down there. Some would have been protecting our people, and some would have went right to that governor's office locking his ass up. That's all I'm gonna say. But are they in position to help our people? See there? You trained in MMA? Chalktown, Montana. Shout out to you. Thunder Bear, shout out to you. Hypro Tunes Productions, shout out to you. Jib, shout out to you. Kaiser, shout out to you. Tonyo, shout out to you. I see y'all. Summer, Rico, Mama Ja, David. We got to come together for our people and have their back. Especially when they, standing up for themselves. See, this is what I mean. And it be our own people that tear us down when we tell them, look, we should not take this type of disrespect. Oh, you should get over it. You just let that bypass. That is not how it's supposed to be done. That's not what other people doing. That is not what other people doing. We're not submitting to some false higher authority. Well, excuse me, they're not. They're not submitting to some false or fake higher authority. Yeah, coming to find out, R. Kelly in jail for a different reason. I knew something was up. I'm going to bring that up later. I knew something was up with that, though. He not in jail for what people think he in jail for. He in jail for the same reason why they locked up what's that Mexican rapper's name? Same reason. RICO charges. I was like, what? Huh? But anyway, I something told me something was up, but I'm gonna look into that later. Because I know that was a long time they've been letting that stuff fly. Now all of a sudden, that 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 cases were dropped. 3 of those cases that they was trying to put on him were dropped out of nowhere, and nobody said anything about it. And I'm like, well, why is he in jail if things got dropped? It was for the RICO charge. I was like, RICO charge? We talking about R. Kelly. I was like, come on. I was like, something wrong with that. But once again, I got to look into that and investigate that. He probably would love for me to do something, as far as investigation and putting it out. Shout out to Bill Cosby, shout out to his team. Because when I did that real research on Bill Cosby, I knew he shouldn't have been in jail. And so did his team. I'm going to just leave it like that. I knew they was coming after him for multiple different reasons. And we ain't even got to go back into it. Man, YouTube ain't like that at all. I had to put that thing on my website. But they tried to, bury his legacy. And that's why I'm watching Denzel Washington. Because I don't want them touching Denzel Washington, bruh. But, and then you still got Samuel L. Jackson. And, like, how come all of our people get hit with this and hit with that? Like, the brother, for example. Now, I don't know if he did this. This is, but the guy that was just in that movie with, in Creed 3 or something like that. I never watched that movie, by the way. Or I don't know what number they on. But I was like, okay, he promoting this new movie. Then all of a sudden, he locked up in New York for assault. I was like, damn, what happened? Like, what? You supposed to be on tour promoting the movie. I was like, okay, yeah, he did it with Michael B. Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like, once again, we not protecting our people. Now, if he did do that, if he did it, he did it, okay? I'm not saying that he did, I'm not saying that he didn't. But I'm like, wow, that just came out the blue. He on the road promoting the movie. What happened? So I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Once again, I do not know. I don't know what happened. I'm not saying that he did it, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff is alleged. Oh, for real? Okay. Oh, it was his girlfriend? Okay, yeah. See, I ain't even gonna get into that. See, I ain't even, you know what I'm saying? That was bad timing for her to have an argument with him or whatever it was. He out there promoting, and that's going scarring his, his reputation. She lied on him. His Becky girlfriend, Lord have mercy, see? Anyway, the whole point is that, okay, for example, right? Why did Will Smith and Chris Rock do that situation? I'm not trying to bring that up, but why? Why? What was the point is that, yeah, Michael Irvin. They did the same thing to Michael Irvin, and Michael Irvin proved his innocence. As far as, you know what I'm saying, like recently. And you look, they got him removed or suspended rather for First Take and some other, I think, basically the NFL Network. They immediately hopped on him and suspended him. Out the blue. And when you go look at the video, his lawyer played the video. The lady laughing and giggling in the hallway. He trying to, you know, he being a nice guy and moving along. That's it. But why are they doing that to our people? Because we not protecting our people. Kyrie Irving. Like, I was pissed that LeBron didn't have his back at first. And that's probably why Kyrie ain't with the Lakers right now, because technically in the beginning, he was leaning on Kyrie. I was like, what are you doing, bruh? You're supposed to have his back. You're supposed to have his back. And the same thing with Shaq and all the rest of them, right? You know, them Boule and all the rest of them secret society members. You know, they link up together and make things happen. They follow a certain narrative or else. And then months later, LeBron James go turn around and talk about a picture of Jerry Jones, an old picture of Jerry Jones in a group of people that were racist. Like, you know, he taking a picture with a group of, I mean, I was like, come on, bro, that's late. 1, 2, you ain't stick up for Kyrie. You ain't stick up for Kyrie. That was like, nah. Yeah, but see, Stephen A. Smith is Omega. He one of them Omega Phi Psi. I forgot what they call Omega. He an Omega also. Same thing with Ricky Smiley. All of them, they got a script that they gotta follow. Le Boule, hey, yeah. He's Sigma Pi Phi. LeBron James is Sigma Pi Phi. He got the logo tatted on his back, or in his chest rather. I think it's his chest. Yeah. Yeah, them fraternity people, man. See, that's why I keep telling people, stop them. Stop getting with those Greek fraternities. But I mean, but it was made by a black person. No, it was not. No, it was not. You need to know the history of these people. And they running for, falling for, thinking everything's sweet. Him ain't not Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, Omega Phi Psi. Yeah, that thing. What's that boy? Steve Harvey. Same thing. All of them. Keep in mind, so was Malcolm X. I mean, not Malcolm X. Excuse me. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was Alpha Phi Alpha. Martin Luther King was Alpha Phi Alpha. So was Dick Gregory, by the way. So was Dick Gregory. So certain people come up out of there once they figure out what's going on. And look how they try to take him out. Look how they try to take him out. I showed y'all in that same video with Ricky Smiley, those police officers that came down on Tyree Nichols and beat him up real bad in Memphis, all Omega. Matter of fact, one of them was the president of the chapter that they had at the University of Mississippi. A president. And look, and the international organization sent out a letter the day that Ricky Smiley's son died, saying that, they were condemning a situation, but they did not kick them out as members until people were getting on them saying, hey, they were wearing the Sigma Phi Psi logo on their chest as they were doing all of that stuff. It's on camera. They didn't come out. I believe that statement was February 2nd or February 3rd, stating that they removed their membership. Notice how they didn't remove their membership at first, but they wanted the officials to do something about them. Come on, bruh. Nah, you can tell it's all a game. They doing this to as distractions, twist up narratives, making our people seem like they weak when we not. We not weak. We just gotta move those type of people out the way. Sci-fi, Omega Sci-Fi. I don't know what I was saying. If I said it wrong, fuck them. I don't care. I don't care about them anyway. But yeah, my whole point is this. We gotta stand, and see, that's another thing. Since they have these type of organizations, and this Greek fraternity, this, you know what I'm saying, sorority, that, we gotta have our own that will stand up against not only those type of people, but other people surrounding them that also worship the skull and bones, Freemasonry, those type of, the Shriners, those type of people are not for us. You know why? Because none of that stuff is indigenous to the, well, hold on. I take that back. Some of the skull and bone stuff is indigenous to this land, but not their practices. Not their practices. Certain practices, I actually can go into that in the video. Certain practices and beliefs, certain practices and beliefs were twisted, okay, by way of what they saw when they traveled to different locations. They adopted some in Africa and adopted some in America. Put them all together and say, all right, here go our religious belief. We're going to call this Judaism. I'm just saying. Maybe I could go into that at a later date. But our people need to be protected. Our people need to be protected, and the only way for that, in order for that to happen, is if we step up and actually put our own organization together. And I don't mean we gotta have a name like NAACP, and we gotta be out in the forefront and be on the news media like Black Lives Matter. We gotta be out in the street, and we could do all this stuff behind the scenes. But what I mean by organization is that we're organized and we're together as a nation. An organization. We're organized and we're together as a nation. It's only gonna take 13% of us, everybody else go follow suit. We can make this happen, and we got the money too. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We could put our resources together. Pool our resources together. Whatever we need, we can make it happen. Yes, it is unifying, but it is unifying with the right people. With the right people, with like-minded people. Because, for example, like on YouTube, just take YouTube for example, right? A lot of people on YouTube that have YouTube channels that, that are smaller than mine, that want to bring that stuff up, what happens is that they'll claim that they disagree with me. Even people that claim that they're American Indian or Aboriginal, Niji, they will disagree with me just because of the fact that they don't like my position. They don't like where I'm at. They don't like the fact that my views are higher. They don't like the fact that my approach on information is better. My research is better. I put things on screen. I put my face on screen. I got my real name out there. It's stupidity, but they will go to the extreme just to put me down, knowing that they should have been banning with me, because if I had the biggest reach, if you come along, whatever you have as far as your reach is concerned, if we put that reach together, we could reach other people. But no, they so concerned about ego, so concerned about, oh, this or no that, and I know I'm better, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, but those are the type of people I don't want to unify with. So when I do look at certain people that come into the 13% community server, I cross-reference everything that they got going on, look at them. Yes, I have to, because and especially if we about to do some things, not necessarily just business, but it's not only just with me, but you doing it for our people. I don't want you in our situation trying to infiltrate or trying to prevent us from doing what we got to do in order for us to get to the next steps. I don't want that type of energy around me. Like, if I could read the room real quick without nobody saying anything, I could feed off of your energy and see where you at. Right away. When I walk into a room, yes, I'm alpha male, but at the same time, when I walk into a room, my persona demands the respect. And I also can pinpoint who's alpha female, who's alpha male, who's about their people, who's not, who's beta. who's Delta. We could go down the list. Who's not ready, who needs to be brought up a little bit. Okay? Some of y'all got to put your egos to the side and learn that, yes, everybody's learning, right? Everybody. Not one person is over the next person. We're not trying to say that. What you got to realize is that in order for us to work together, you got to let all that stuff go. Whatever problem that you got amongst yourself, let it go. Let it go. Leave it at the, matter of fact, don't even leave it at the door or the doorstep. Leave it in your bedroom. Leave it in your bathroom. Don't come out of your house or your apartment like that. Because if you for your people, this shouldn't be about you. Because if you for your people, this shouldn't be about you. The only way we going to come to solutions, we got to stop arguing amongst each other. When I tell you that I'm American Indian, respect it. When I tell you that I'm Anayanweir, that means the Great Wolf Clan, leave it alone. You can't tell me who my people are. You can't tell me who my people are. I can only tell you who my people are. If you mad at that, oh well. That's not my fault. I'm not up here regurgitating what some other stranger told me. Oh no, all black people came from Africa. That is dead. Honestly, may it rest in peace. That lie is dead. No, matter of fact, no, ain't no may it rest in peace. May it rest in peace. That lie is dead, okay?
Set it on fire.
I'm glad that it's dead because a lot of our people are coming together and realizing that we have been lied to about our own history. And the reason why is because they don't want this to happen. What's taking place right now. Us coming together as like-minded people to get what's done, corrected. What was done to us, to get what was done to us corrected. Okay? That's what they don't want. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of us making our own currency. They're afraid of us getting our own lands back. Capitalizing on our land. They're afraid of us kicking them out because we are the landlords. They're just the tenant that pay rent on our land. And on top of that, we didn't receive the rent. It's been long overdue. So we ain't even got to give you a 30-day notice. We can kick you out right away because we are the judge as well. See? On top of that, our farms, that's correct. Our farms, our crops are things that we had in place that made everybody else prosper, and they made sure that they kept us down for that reason. Just think about it. If we were the biggest farmers, and we were, I'm talking about sharecroppers, and we were, landowners, and we were, what makes you think we came from another landmass? Like, how in the world did they bring us from Africa and we learned how to farm over here and they didn't? And we had to teach them how to farm in order for them to survive. That doesn't make sense. You can't come from a totally different continent and expect that this new continent is going to be the same. Weather is going to be different. Atmosphere is going to be different. Environment is going to be different. Of course, we were indigenous to this land. And the foreigners came, first by the hundreds, then by the thousands. And they still come to this day.
Niggas need to wake up. Wake up.
Now, if we want that to stop, if we want that to cease, as far as helping out other foreigners, that's up to the government. I'm going to be honest with you, because when we have our own government, that government, this foreign government that's in place right now, have to better respect us. Better. And I'm telling you, I know that's going to happen. It's inevitable. I've already seen it. I already know what's going to happen. That's why they're putting so many things in place to try to delay it, push it back, delay it, push it back. It's going to happen. The Great Spirit, the one y'all call the Creator, the Great Spirit, Big Chief, already know what's going on. That's already working in our favor. We already won the war before the battle got even, I'm talking about before the battle started, we already won the war. Let me tell you why. Because it's very little of them and it's millions of us. Millions of us. We're outnumbering them. Right now. This is another reason why they continuously ask foreigners to beg them to come over here for free. They don't got to take no shot. They don't got to have no ID. Matter of fact, they don't even got to have a social security number. You can wait for 6 months to a year to get your nationality ID. They don't care. They flocking them in here, supporting them with housing, supporting them with clothing, supporting them with food. You understand what I'm saying? They doing this for them because they know for a fact that their numbers are low. We outnumbered them. Now, some of my religious people could go to the Bible. Some of my religious people could go to the Quran. Some of my people, y'all could go to the Torah. Y'all can pinpoint that this was already prophesied, right? Am I lying? Now, when you think it's gonna happen? Now, hold on. Let me warm this up a little bit. When they talked about some stories dealing with that place, and y'all say that we these people over there. No, we not. The people right here. Not in no other country, not in no other continent. Right here. Because think about it. If the so-called, just as an example, if the so-called Bible was written in Hebrew first, then why did King James have to translate it in English in order for us to understand? Why did he take out so many books in order for us to understand? Because he knew certain amount of books was not working in their favor. The intruders. King James was an intruder, by the way. Yeah, certain people gonna say he white, certain people gonna say he black, but he was in control of writing those charters, sending the missionaries over here with the Bible in their hand saying, hey, give it to them, preach the gospel to them. I told you this already. So they were infiltrators. They were our enemies, technically. And that's real talk. So it ain't no big enough the King James Version Bible. It's not about that. It's about, okay, what was in there? What was in there and what did they take out? What they didn't want us to know? How come the Mormons got a different version? Uh-oh. So wait a minute, he was able to speak Hebrew and English? When did he come over here to learn English? No. English came from England, and that's what we about to get into. As a matter of fact, yes, this is a perfect transition. I'm so glad that I brought that up. Yes. We about to get into this right now. You think we speaking the Queen's English? Huh? We speaking the Queen's English? Go ahead and leave your thoughts right now, because I'm about to debunk it right now. Go ahead and leave it in there. You think we speaking the Queen's English? Huh? Huh? You think it's their language, huh? I swear, I dare you. I dare you to say that that's their language. I dare you. Because the person that wrote the dictionary said it was ours. He got it from the indigenous people of this land. This land, not England, this land. This land. Right here. Right here. All of a sudden, millions of people already over here, and they taught everybody English? Or did they already know? Or did they already know? We about to get into it right now. So it's gonna be, I gotta play a couple of videos. This is gonna be a little lengthy. I'm not even looking at the time right now. I just know this is gonna be lengthy. So here we go. Let's start off with the first one to get y'all warmed up to what we about to get into heavy. Hold on, let me pull this stuff up on my side. So let's start it. Okay, good. I already got it pulled up right here. All right. Let's start off with this one first.
Oseo, my brothers and sisters, relatives, spiritual warriors, and free thinkers.
Let's go.
Today, I want to begin this segment with you imagining yourself traveling to a different location that you may want to go. But this particular location will be very distant from your current home, meaning that it will be located in a totally different country. where the people of that country would speak their native language, which of course will be different from yours. The people of this particular country would look different, think different, and even eat different foods from what you would normally intake back home. Their customs and traditions are also different, along with their dates and times. And even the weather of this place is under different atmospheric conditions from what you would normally experience back home. Imagine that you have never traveled to this place previously, nor even seen or heard of this place before, but you travel to this distant location still in hopes of providing a better present for yourself and maybe a better future for your family. And let me add that in order for you to live there, you will have to learn from scratch a totally new culture and a new way of life, and most importantly, possibly a new trade. In fact, the only way for you to survive in this new location is to learn how to communicate efficiently and effectively enough to conduct trade, so that you can now have a job or run a business and begin to somehow make an income in this foreign land.
Think about that. Think about that. That's very important. You got to learn their language in order to survive.
Sounds difficult, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. Even right now, with the availability of the internet and possibly having assistance from foreign interpreters at your expense, realistically, this would in fact be a difficult task for anyone to succeed in without the proper connections. Now, with you cognizant of how difficult it will be for you to do this sort of thing today, think about how complex this sort of thing would be if a person attempted this same exact thing at least 100 or more years ago without having the luxury of advanced technology, which should make you ask some questions.
Oh, a lot of questions.
Was there ever one universal language? And if so, what was it?
We're going to get into this one
first.
What
was used for our ancestors to communicate with incoming foreigners that were arriving upon these lands?
See there?
And how did the English language become the primary language spoken, opposed to the many indigenous languages that already existed here in America? Well, before I reveal the answers to those questions, let's take a look at the so-called history of language and how it became what it is today.
Start from the top with
it. There are some people who would equate language and its creation to the Phoenicians, due to the many stories of these same said people being the actual creators of the alphabet. According to the Encyclopedia of Trade from Ancient Times to Present, most of the world's writing systems.
Hold up, just in case y'all want to write this down.
And how it became what it is today.
You can write that book down.
Now, there are some people who would equate language and its creation to the Phoenicians, due to the many stories of these same said people being the actual creators of the alphabet. According to the Encyclopedia of Trade from Ancient Times to Present, most of the world's writing systems before the invention of the alphabet were pictograms, such as the Egyptian hieroglyphics. An alphabet is an important cultural innovation that allows easy and therefore potential mass literacy, more accurate record and contract keeping, adaptability to new intellectual concepts, and thus accelerated cultural change. The Greek, Latin, Hebrew, Arabic, and Cyrillic alphabets all derived ultimately from the Phoenician, end quote. But what is very important to note here is that it also states that the Phoenicians are the ancestors to which all Western alphabets can be traced, but it is not the ancestor of all languages. And that is because an alphabet does not produce the language. It only provides a symbol for the oral sound that a person makes when speaking a particular language.
Oral sound. Oral sound.
The word language is derived from the Latin word lingua, which means the tongue and speech. It is defined in the 1828 Webster's English Language Dictionary as, quote, human speech, the expression of ideas by words or significant articulate sounds for the communication of thoughts. End quote. So, who are the Phoenicians?
Also, I'm going to get into this in the other video. Keep in mind that came from Webster. Okay, he was allegedly the person that created the first English language dictionary. We're going to get into that after
Why were they so important to the history of language? The Phoenicians knew that language was a very important part of trade. And before they allegedly created the alphabet, people wrote in cuneiform or pictograms, which could transcribe an entire idea versus just one word. This means that someone would have to be very educated, or rather indoctrinated, in order to produce these types of writings. And because they were known for traveling and expanding their trading empire all across Europe and Northern Africa, they knew how important it was to have a simpler means of communication, especially due to their mainland being a port city along the Mediterranean Sea, allegedly located in what is called Lebanon today. And so the Phoenician city of Byblos became an epicenter for trade. According to the Ancient History Encyclopedia,
that's where the term Bible
Byblos
came from too.
Was the religious capital of Phoenicia, and papyrus was one of its principal articles of trade. For this reason, quote, the Greeks took the name of the city as their word for book, Byblos, and from their word for books named our word for Bible, ta Biblia, which means the books.
See?
Byblos was an important shipping port known for its timbers. The cedars of Lebanon was said to be prized by other countries because it was the first city to allegedly perfect shipbuilding. The Phoenicians carried a trade route and created colonies in what is now known as Spain, France, Italy, and Northern Africa. And while traveling to different locations meant learning different languages and written scripts, which in fact took time to study and understand, the Phoenicians allegedly decided to come up with the 22 symbols that we recognize today as an alphabet. It was understood that every word that can be spoken is comprised of different sounds placed together. The Phoenicians realized that 22 sounds make up the majority of words, so they created easy to write and easy to recall symbols that anyone could learn to match with these sounds. It was also said that every one of these sounds were consonants, but many of these sounds were in fact vowel sounds disguised as a consonant symbol or letter. And many of these letters have since expanded into what is now known as the English alphabet. This is why you will find a few letters of the English alphabet having the same exact sounds and symbols, and in some cases having the same sound with different symbols. For some mysterious reason, the English alphabet has a few repeating sounds, in which a new symbol was created for each one, bringing the total amount of letters used in the English alphabet to 26. And the French and Spanish alphabet includes one additional letter, bringing their totals to 27. Now, why is this important, you ask? Well, just as the Phoenicians were traders that traveled and created colonies, so were the English, Spanish, and the French. So in other words, all of these languages are in fact trade languages, in which each of these trade languages were eventually passed down from generation to generation over time. But in a more historical sense, these trade languages were better known as pidgin languages.
Pidgin languages.
A pidgin language is described today as a language with no native speakers, which is used for business, trade, or commerce.
See there?
It is the reduced form of a language. But if there were no native speakers,
hold
then
on.
what language?
Like how we say that some of those, certain people that's coming from other countries, of other continents, they come over here and speak a form of broken English. Okay? Similar, very similar. Remember how in the Bible they said in order to separate the people, they twisted the tongue? Pigeon tongue. Yeah. Somebody just said that. Now y'all getting it. This is going back to the religious beliefs as well.
Trade or commerce. It is the reduced form of a language. But if there were no native speakers, then what language is it reduced from? A lingua franca.
A lingua franca.
A lingua franca, from Italian, meaning Frankish tongue, is a language systematically used as a common language to bridge the communication of those people that speak different native languages. English is a dramatic bridge language or a trade language with an added mixture of Spanish words, French words, Greek, Arabic, Latin, and it also heavily incorporates words from the many American Indian indigenous languages that were once spoken upon these lands, now known as the America.
Now, I'm going to prove that as well. Coming up, I'm going to prove it.
A lingua franca takes many words and their meanings or ideas and reduces them into a simplified version that could be understood by many. Lingua franca literally means Frankish tongue, a language spoken in Germany that eventually evolved into the language now known as Dutch. What is also very important to note here is that pidgin languages and lingua francas claim to have no native speakers, but that is very far from the truth. The process, which is used to simplify a language, also seeks to reduce the origin of the word spoken. But if you simply follow the word trail based on the sound of a word, the origin of that word usually shows up with a different spelling attached or a very closely related meaning.
It won't ever fail.
Often stated with not to be confused with,
yep,
etc. Or the origin of that word could be closely related in meaning and just misunderstood. For example, the indigenous word water sounds like water, but this word actually means canoe, which is a boat that sits in the water. So pointing at the canoe in the water.
Hold up. Shout out to the Algonquins. They're going to say Algonquians, however you want to pronounce it. Shout out to the folks.
And saying water could have been mistaken by a foreigner as the liquid that was surrounding the canoe, and yet it is now our English word for water. Many languages are in fact the same language, hidden behind different spelling and reversed grammar, misunderstood but closely related in meanings and spoken with different pronunciations and different dialects. So now, this should make you ask some questions, like, how did we as a people begin to take on the English language as our primary language? And how did the English language become the official but yet non-official language of North America, instead of the many indigenous tongues that were spoken before the colonization of this land? It was implemented through a process called polysynthesis. Polysynthesis is comprised of two terms, poly and synthesis. Poly meaning many or much, and synthesis meaning deductive reasoning, to put together or to combine. The linguistic definition of this word was coined by a French-American linguist by the name of Peter Stephen Duponcho in the year of 1816, and according to the 9th volume of the North American Review and Miscellaneous Journal.
Hold up, I'm gonna pause it so y'all can have it. Y'all can come back to this and write this down.
That was published in the
year 1819. I just want y'all to know, it's up.
Duponcho defines polysynthesis as, quote, the act of taking the greatest number of ideas and comprising them into the least number of words.
Don't forget, that's what a language is. It's based around the sound of ideas. So don't forget that. So all they doing is mashing it together, taking bits and pieces and putting it together.
Peter Dupancho immigrated to North America during the year of 1777 and became well known for his linguistics analysis of the indigenous languages of America, spoken by the Indians. Peter Dupancho even wrote a book on the grammatical systems of the Indian languages. This book, prized by the Institutes of France, was called Mémoire sur le système grammatical de langue de quelqu'un sous danger de l'imaginaire, or rather translated in English as the memory of the grammatical system of the—
Hey, that boy put that French out there. Woo! Hey, shout out to all the French people. Oui. Comment t'appelles-tu? Comment t'appelles-tu? Bien, merci. Hey, you gotta, I'm just saying that boy killed that thing right there, cuz. Let me go back.
De langue de quelqu'un sous danger de l'imaginaire, or rather translated in English as the memory of the grammatical system of the languages of some Indian nations of North America, which was published in the year of 1838. It was known since the—
Hold on, shout out to my father. Shout out to one of my aunts that passed away. Thank you for keeping me up on French. My grandmother, shout out to her, keeping me up on Latin so I know where to find this stuff at. Okay, number one. Number two, it's all family based of where I come from with my mom. Hey, listen, my family will tell you I don't play around. I read books galore and I do research galore. I don't play. I do not play games. But yes, it's always good to be multilingual, bilingual. It's up to y'all. Want me to speak some Spanish too? I'll do it another time.
Earliest days of colonization that Indians had a very rich vocabulary. It was stated in the North American Review that, quote, Indians have an innumerable quantity of words. To the testimony of Mr. Dupancho and of Colden, we can add that of Roger Williams, who says in the most emphatic terms that the language of the Indians is exceedingly copious, and they have 5 or 6 words, sometimes for one thing.
All right, don't forget that I told y'all this. Now, they saying for one thing, but don't forget that we can have 6 words that mean, okay, for example, we can have 6 first names that will be our one first name, you know what I mean? Before we even get to the middle and last name. Okay, now that was up and down. That's Plain Indians. That's East Woodland Indians. That was all of us. Every single one of us had a bunch of names. Okay, and they tried to simplify it. They knew it was very difficult to keep up with that many words, so they tried to simplify it the best way that they could.
This was obviously a major issue in terms of trade, and so prominent anthropologists like Franz Boas, Melville Herskovits, and even Margaret Mead eagerly studied some of the indigenous languages of America in hopes of using the—
Hold up. Shout out to my wife for getting this audio of Margaret Mead for me. I appreciate that. Shout out to my wife. Thank you, baby.
Process of polysynthesis in order to royally change these indigenous languages indefinitely. Listen closely. Polysynthesis not only simplifies a language, but it also carries a hidden agenda to systematically alter and even remove a language completely. It was done so in a matter of familiarity. Even nowadays, we as a people do not create new words to convey a slang word or a new word. It's just usually a commonly known word that is used, that somehow finds its way into having an alternate meaning or definition.
That's what they do.
According to the American Anthropologist, Volume 6, that was published in October of 1893, when talking about polysynthesis in English languages, the writer stated, quote, I know by experience how...
I made a mistake. I meant to say polysynthesis in Indian language. That's what I meant to say. Polysynthesis in Indian language. But my source is correct.
Talking about polysynthesis in English languages, the writer stated, quote,
but technically it's the same thing, okay? Technically. English is in okay, I'm going.
Know by experience how difficult it is for a missionary to convey to the minds of his hearers certain religious ideas. Again and again did I try, when missionary to the Ponca Indians, to find the proper Indian word for kingdom in order to make an even approximate translation of the petition, Thy kingdom come. Anyone who has lived amongst Indians know the worthlessness of adducing modern names, i.e., names of objects introduced among the Indians since the arrival of the white race on this continent, for the purpose of illustrating the construct of an Indian language, end quote. It was also well known by these anthropologists that I mentioned earlier, and even the ones that were in between, that by reducing the amount of words to one's vocabulary will cause a chain reaction that would in turn reduce the amount of ideas one may be able to produce, creating a generalized dumbing down effect on the population, and especially on the students that received this type of education. For example, an American anthropologist and one of the direct students of the famous German descent American anthropologist named Melville Herskovitz, a name that you may recall me mentioning on numerous occasions, along with presenting his story to everyone in my previous documentaries, by the name of Margaret Mead, speaks about this during an interview on social anthropology,
Listen to
American
her.
Character, and Primitive Studies that was conducted and produced by Howard Langer in 1959. During this interview with Margaret Mead, she stated that the usage and learning a different language other than the trade language of English is suppressed, and that this is taught to our children at a young age by the systematic usage of polysynthesis. She also shared a very essential example on how it is all done.
We train people not to be able to learn foreign languages in the most fantastic way, because what we teach a child is, you see, if you take this pencil here, we teach a child this is a pencil. Now this isn't a pencil. This is an object made of wood and lead, designed for writing, which we call a pencil, and other people call it other things, and other people call it other things, and other people.
Now, I do have the whole interview. If y'all want to have that, just get into the 13% community server and ask me. I'll just click and drag it. It's in one of my folders or one of my hard drives. I got it, though. If you want the whole thing, let me know.
Call it other things, and other people call it other things, and other people call it other things.
So, this type of so-called educational training, which has been implemented within our public compulsory educational institutions' curriculums for several years now, successfully ensured that the English language became the primary language of nearly all households throughout America. And as the indigenous languages of the American Indians has since been royally reduced, it must be understood that this form of systematic indoctrination of our children has been unfortunately mutually consented by the descendants of the indigenous people of America.
That's what we got to correct.
Us.
We got to correct that.
The entire purpose of sending our children to school is so that they could participate in the act of industry and trade.
That's
by getting a good job. Although there are no existing legislators that list English as the official language of the United States, the transition from the indigenous languages that were once spoken to the English language was a systematic effort brought about to ensure business efficiency and that the trade ran more smoothly. On March 3rd, 1819, Congress passed an act making provision for the civilization of the Indian tribes adjoining the frontier settlements. It is very important to note that the word frontier is, quote, the border or confine of a country that is furthest advanced with a part that fronts an enemy or which an invading enemy meets at front.
Whoo. I'm gonna let this one sink in. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just let this one sink in, y'all. This is what they were doing. Right up under our noses. I remember people were saying it was a genocide done on our people too, but they gotta be all the way clear that this was paper genocide on our people. That's how they erased our everything. Culture, heritage, legacy, languages, paper, by the pen and paper. Gotta be clear with that.
End quote.
And wars.
This act of 1819 states,
Look. Oh, I'm about to read it. Hold on. Go ahead.
Quote, that for the purpose of providing against the further decline and final extinction of the Indian tribes, adjoining the...
Listen to that. And final extinction of the Indian tribes. Listen to what they were doing. Like when you hear the term doctrine of discovery, okay, yeah, this is similar to that. This was like modern doctrine of discovery, 1819. They were getting all of this stuff done right up under our nose. We had no idea this was happening at all.
Frontier settlements of the United States, and for introducing among them the habits and arts of civilization, the President of the United States shall be, and he is hereby authorized in every case where he shall judge improvement in the inhabitants and condition of such Indians practicable, and that the means of instruction can be introduced with their own consent, to employ capable persons of good moral character, to instruct them in the mode of agriculture suited to their situation, and for teaching their children in reading, writing, and arithmetic, and performing such other duties as may be enjoined, according to such instructions and rules as the President may give and prescribe for the regulation of their conduct in the discharge of their duties. End quote.
See?
Those indigenous families that...
So I know I'm about to explain it, but I'm just saying, this is it. This is one of them. They did this a couple of times over, but this is one of them, where they're enacting these types of things that we going through right now. Like, for example, they tried to make it seem as if it's law, okay? For example, in order for our children to go to school, to get taught compulsory education. Now, keep in mind, you would think that compulsory education didn't come until the 1900s. Hold on, am I on the mic? My fault. You would think that it didn't come until the 1900s, which is true, by way of Woodrow Wilson and them. But they did have a form of indoctrination throughout their schoolings right here. That was even when we had our own schools at this time. That this also goes to show you that we had our own schools, as a matter of fact. 1819. We had it before, the HBCUs came about. but this was what their agenda was for our schools. That was the start of the indoctrination process.
Accepted education and employment did so under the guise of civilization. So, where did this idea come from? Well, it could have came in response to the pleas of President Jefferson to the American Indian chiefs upon this land. According to the address made to Indian chiefs by Thomas Jefferson during the early 1800s, pleas were made for the tribes to go into business of trade and industry with the incoming foreigners, stating that those who accepted employment as, quote, cultivators of the earth for the maintenance of their families, those people would be supporting their families better and with less labor. They
tricked them.
Were assured that by raising stock and bread and by spinning and weaving clothes than by hunting, that more provisions will be provided, and that a woman will clothe more by spinning and weaving than a man by hunting. End quote.
This is all a quote from that doctrine. Excuse me, from that legislation.
Thomas Jefferson also stated that, quote, compared with you, we are but as of yesterday in this land. Yet see how much more we have multiplied by industry and the exercise of that reason which you possess in common with us. Follow then our example, brethren, and we will aid you with great pleasure.
Now, this is why I told y'all that they came with flowers, but the gun was in their back pocket. They tried to get friendly with and they did. They got friendly with certain tribes, and they fell for it. All because they needed help. Thomas Jefferson, all of them need help. They needed help. Once again, I said this multiple times before, that the government did not have its stronghold until the 1850s. So we talking early 1800s. They're trying to, make it seem like everything all good, wine and dine you and stuff like that, so they could get in there and kick doors down. Try to make like it's a good CBA. Contract. Or binding agreement. And that's also, actually, that goes back to before manumissions were in place. That goes back to what the indentured servants had to sign. Indentures, contracts, promissory notes. And then they turned around and made their currency a promissory note. It didn't have any value. It wasn't backed by anything like gold, for example. All of this should ring a bell. They did it step by step by step. So when I tell you how they get it done, it took a long time for them to get this done. And that's why I'm going right back in multiple of my documentaries on my YouTube channel. I tell you exactly how they got it done. What led to us losing the things that we had? What led to us losing our grasp on our stronghold that we had, that they knew we had, and they had to do business with us. They had to get in because they weren't surviving. They had to get in so they could be in control over the trade and commerce. That's what another form of eugenics was about, by the way. I went into that as well. That was a different video. But those foreigners were coming over here trying to learn trade and commerce so they could survive. Not at first. I'm just talking about around this time. We talking 1800s, early 1800s. Because early 1700s, early 1600s, they were dying. They were not surviving. They did not have a stronghold at all. Don't let them fool you. They did not have a big military. They did not have a big militia, whatever term you want to use. This was all about tricking our people so they could be allowed to trade, so they could have control over what's being traded with other countries of other continents. Yes, similar to Thanksgiving, thanks-taking. That's what that was. Thanks, we'll take our plate and go. Very similar.
End quote. So, by sending our children to school and preparing them for the workforce and
Look. And you know our people were not Catholics here. You know it. Look who was teaching them. In agreement that they were going to get something out of it, okay? That's what they would. Still to this day, our people are doing that right now. And those people that I was talking about, those Greek fraternities and sororities, they're doing things because they think they're going to get something out of it that's going to be the better good for them and their people. But it's technically for them and their family, their inner circles. That's the secret. Keep their plan sacred, as sacred knowledge. That's their secret. Don't show, when I said this earlier, don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, or vice versa. And it be your own people. That's what I'm trying to do. It's no joke. It's no joke. They right there indoctrinating the children. And yes, they knew what was going on. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Don't try to, you know what I'm saying? Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, certain people, maybe. Because once they learn what's going on, then what's their excuse? They gonna continue on and continue on? Of course they are. Of course they are. These are real pictures that I'm showing you. And you know, the people that did the missionary work were the Catholics, the Jesuits, the Protestants, and the and the Quakers. Many denominations of the Christianity Society, especially the Catholics, they was at the top. Don't forget the Catholics got to us and to the so-called ones they want to call Mexicans in Central America. Think about it. And I swear, if you got a Latino friend, ask them if they're Catholic right now. That's why the majority of our people Christian. This is no cap. This is what they were doing. Now, once again, this ain't no knock or no hate to your religious belief. I'm just telling you what happened historically. You gonna make your own decision on what you gonna do from that point forward. Whether if you wanna still lay with the enemy, or you gonna come over here, okay, and make some real changes, okay? Okay? They had to do it that way. They indoctrinated the adults with religion, got to the children with indoctrinating through special curriculums. Teaching them how to become better workers. This is still happening. They're all about trade and commerce right now. This is still happening. This did not stop. This is what this foreign government is about. Top, bottom, ain't nothing changed. When you hear the term slavery, think employer. Excuse me, think employee. Correction, think employee. When you hear the term slave, employee, indentured servant, laborer, for somebody else, y'all, this is still happening. That's what I'm saying. And people turn in, no, but my job is great. They gonna make it seem like it is, but you never gonna go above a certain degree. That's why they hand you your degrees in school, because you only gonna be indoctrinated to a certain degree. What degree have you been indoctrinated? To be a better worker. Then they're gonna hang you these specialized titles, give you a salary that's still up under contract. See what I'm saying? Everybody is up under. If you filled out an application, you up under contract. If you could be fired at will, you up under contract. Right now. It happened then, it's happening now. This is what we gotta change. Dane, how we gonna do it? Create our own. I gave you the solutions. I'm gonna continue to repeat myself. We gotta create our own. Because we cannot allow these foreigners to dictate what we should be doing for ourselves. Is something wrong with working with for other people? Excuse me. Is there something wrong for you working for yourself while you working for other people? In a way, it's not, if it's going to be beneficial. But if you're being lowballed from day one, if you got to pay taxes to something unforeseen, if you get, when I mean by lowball, hold on, that was street terminology. What I mean by that is those people that don't understand what that is you're not getting paid what you should be getting paid. If your wages are low, your taxes is high, that's purposely done. If you barely living, if you living from check to check, this is not how it's supposed to be done. That's why it's not equality in the work environment. It's not equality in schooling. It's not equality in housing. It's not equality in commerce and trade. It's not equality economically. It's always somebody placing a tax on you, taxing you, as they sit back in their big mansion out there in the pool, sipping on whatever, with girls walking by in bikinis, looking at their cell phones, seeing how much their company made based off of your labor. Year after year after year after year. We got to stop this. And they purposely set this up because they knew we were the head runners in agriculture, taught them everything. Then they snatched our people up out of that and put machines in place of us. Like how they doing right now, right? They trying to get rid of I'm talking about the physical laborers and put robots in place, right? Am I lying? Slowly but surely, that's happening. Slowly but surely. Right now. Now, that's the route they want to go. We don't have to go that route. We don't got to glorify technology to the point where we kicking people off at their job and they out of work and can't feed their families and can't take care of themselves. We don't got to go that route. They could go that route. In fact, they could do it in their motherland. They don't got to do it here. Who died and gave them the right to do this in the first place? Who? Who? And the only reason why, see, this is the reason why I said we got to have protections in place for our people. Because the only reason why this is still going on is because we didn't step up to say, stop. That's enough. It's over. You played your game. It's game over. You understand what I'm saying? Where that game over sound at? It's game over. Turn around and laugh at him. Laugh at him. It's up to us now. We got to make the changes. They're going to be mad, but so what? We got to be the judge of what's going to happen for our people, for our sake. They cannot determine what our next move should be. They could try to predict it all day long. This is the reason why they are making moves, because they're predicting that we're going to take over. Because there's way more of us than them. But my main agenda is to let my people become cognizant of what happened to us in the past, so we can correct it now in the present, so we can have a better future. My agenda won't ever change.
It's go time, Slim.
All right, here we go.
With great pleasure, end quote. So, by sending our children to school and preparing them for the workforce and capitalism and industry, it was thought that we would somehow be excelling to a greater level in life. But this was actually the beginning of slavery here in America for those who were not yet prisoners of war. And we cannot get to this point without adopting a common language that was familiar and foreign at the same time, or so we thought, because there was in fact a universal language of trade already in use. Before interpreters and before foreigners could fully understand the indigenous language upon this land, and before the mixture of German and Indian languages that created English, what was used amongst our ancestors to communicate with incoming foreigners that were arriving upon these lands? The universal language available that was used to conduct trade in America amongst the Indians and foreigners during that time is the same language that is used with babies and young children before they could speak the language of adults. It's the same language used in sports amongst referees and umpires. It is the same language used between a baseball pitcher and a baseball catcher. It's the same language used in secret organizations and amongst law enforcement officials. It is the very same language that you would use if you were somewhere that you could not speak, the language that was commonly understood. This language is known universally as sign language. And according to the handbook of the church's missions to the Indians, entered at the post office of Harvard, Connecticut.
Whoa. Listen to my source, y'all. Listen to my source. Church's mission to the Indians, y'all. Listen. I'ma calm down.
And according to the handbook of the church's missions to the Indians, entered at the post office of Harvard, Connecticut in 1854, but published in March of 1913, quote, sign language was of extensive development and existed all over the world and bore a resemblance to the sign language now used in some of our deaf-mute schools.
Keep in mind, there's different sign languages. Different. Keep in mind, I'm referring to American Sign Language. American Indian Sign Language. But keep in mind, sign language is universal. It is different ones in different areas. Okay?
Picture writing the world over probably grew out of sign language, the first stage in development. The second was pictographs, and the third, alphabet. These merge into each other by a slow and gradual process. End quote. It is unfortunate that the sign language is the common language of mainly the deaf and the mute today, and that is no longer widely understood as it was before, when it was used widely amongst those who conducted trade upon these lands. It too is one of the Indian languages that is now in danger of becoming extinct. And some may say for a very good reason, because it has been said that written language and spoken language was developed to hide one's true intent. And when we are focused so much on what is being said or what was written, we just might miss the signs.
If we are focused on what was being said and what was written, we just might miss the signs. All right, hold up. We about to get right into the next one. Now, see, this is, okay, now I want y'all to focus on how important this is, because a lot of people talk about we got bigger issues, and honestly, yes, we do, but you got to understand the bigger issue. This is the reason why I tell you the history of the biggest issues that we have right now that has trickled down all the way to our time period, and it still affects us today. So anybody out there telling you that history is not important, they got an agenda. Or what I'm talking about is not important to what's affecting us right now, they got an agenda. They're there to confuse you, distract you. The only way you're going to understand a problem is for you to go all the way back to the root of the problem, to the very root. That's the only way. Again, in order for you to understand a problem, the problems that we face today, is for you to go all the way back to the very root of those problems. That's the only way. So we could tackle that thing before it hit the first down, second down, third down, and even a touchdown. We got to tackle it. Stop it. Prevent it from moving forward another yard. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to move to the next one right now. About to pull that up real quick. Everybody good in the chat as I'm pulling this up? We good? Y'all can hear me clear? Oh, see you, everyone. Thank you all. I appreciate y'all for being here. Y'all know I love to teach. This time around, I'm not trying to do too much yelling because I see my mic is sky high, even though y'all saying y'all can hear me clear. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? But I love y'all. I'm doing this for y'all. My wife and I, we doing this for y'all. This is for our advancement. Advancement of our people. Since NAACP wanted to play games, Black Lives Matter, George Soros funded, they just wanted to show off and cause confusion and get more of our people to vote Democrat than I'm talking about historically, ain't do nothing for us. Dane Calloway and Tanisha Calloway, which is my wife, we're out here doing it for the right cause, the right reasons, for the right people that's like-minded. Like, even if you just coming into this thing and getting it together with yourself, I'm not knocking you, brother, sister. I'm not. I love you. I don't care what your skin complexion is on top of that, but just know that this is for my people. Okay? Just know it. Just know that this is for my people. All right? Now, you could be here. You could definitely be here, support, you know, and assist. If it's something that you would like to do, no matter your skin complexion, say it. If you feel as though you may have something that can help us succeed, whatever it is, speak. Speak your mind. That's what this is about. In fact, if you would like to, if you guys, and I noticed I did this before, I did a couple of times, you know, where I had an open panel. I noticed a lot of people didn't like that. But so I'm going to take a vote on my channel, and I'm going to put up a poll and see if people want to do that. That way you could join the panel. But in order for you to join the panel, you got to join the 13% community server. Because I'm not picking nobody up off the nothing. You got to be in the community server already holding it down. I'm just saying. Shout out to Bill Loso, Indigenous Rising. Yeah, man. Indigenous Rising. I know it's early. I know I've been doing this. How long I've been streaming? 2 hours? We about to be going another hour. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But I got to get into this next video. We'll see you, everyone. Shout out to the 13% in the chat. I see you. Matter of fact, before we move on, y'all, I'm pulling it up right now. Blow up the chat. Spam it up. Feathers, 13%. Turtles, bow and arrows, hatchets. Throw it up. If you just want to show love, throw up some hearts. Just blow the chat up. Show them we here, y'all. Let them know we here. Let's go. We here, baby.
Just need to wake up. Wake up.
It's up.
Set it on fire.
I know the moderator's not gonna be able to catch all of them. I'm not worried about that. We go get it on the back end. Hold on, pulling up the other one right now. My wife and I wrote a book about it. It's a book with knowledge, evidence, and fact. And my other book got them haters shook because it's helping my people take a closer look at their backgrounds, in the background, showing my people where they supposed to look, showing my people where they get it from, where they hit it from, all sorts of angles. When it comes to this research, you must please first don't trust strangers. Find out all of your own is what I highly recommend and suggest. And if you're looking for answers and content about me, I highly recommend you the best. All right, here we go. Let's go.
English is defined as being related to England or its people or language, but it's also defined as a spin given to a ball, especially in pool or billiards. And the description of a...
Now, hold on. Matter of fact, right now, y'all, right now, can y'all tell me, because I know I'm going to say it in this video. Can anybody in the chat tell me what map is this? What is this a map of, y'all? That's the reason why I'm showing you this right in the beginning. What is this a map of?
Or its people or language.
What is this?
But it's also defined as a...
Anybody in the chat? What is this a map of? Let's go. Nah, this ain't Turtle Island. Europe, England, okay. Italy, Denmark, Jerusalem. That ain't Cali. That ain't Cali. Nah, that ain't Greenland. Uh-oh, somebody got it. Uh-oh, there you go. There it is. So you know where we about to go with this, right? Talk about saying this shit look like Viking territory. Let's go. You about to come on. There we go.
Given to a ball, especially in pool or billiards. And the description of a pool is defined as a body of persons available for work. So it wouldn't be hard for one to imagine that these same persons available for work are being pooled together to accumulate a fund of money for someone else's disposal, which is also the definition of a pool, a fund of money that will continuously be paid to those who successfully trick an entire group of people out of their own inheritance. And by the way, this is similar to sports betting. The race, it seems, was a race to see how efficiently one can put a spin to the great presumptuousness of a group of people who are deemed to have an exaggerated sense of importance. You teach them English or their form of English. English is a bridge language that uses all of the wrong words of a particular language. Because English does not define a particular people or its language, as English has several dialects.
English does not define a particular people. Okay, all right.
Words of a particular language. Because English does not define a particular people or its language.
Or its language, but y'all saying y'all speaking the Queen's language. I mean, we gonna get into it. I'm sorry, this is the last
that
round.
Uses all of the wrong words of a particular language. Because English does not define a particular people or its language, as English has several dialects, meaning that each group of people can have their own English. There's British English, American English, Caribbean English, Indian English for speakers of English in the East Indies, China English, and the list goes on. But the particular type of English which is spoken by many so-called African Americans in the United States is called African American Vernacular English, formerly Black English Vernacular. According to Britannica, African American English is a language variety that has also been defined at different times in dialectology and literary studies as Black English, Black dialect, and Negro non-standard English.
That's not historically.
Since the late 1980s, the term has been used ambiguously.
Since the late 1980s, let's make that clear.
Sometimes with reference to only Ebonics, or as it is known to linguists, African American Vernacular English, and sometimes with reference to both Ebonics and Gullah, the Creole spoken by African Americans in coastal areas of South Carolina and Georgia, and on the offshore sea islands. In the 20th century, much of the scholarship of AAE revolved around questions on how extensively it was influenced by African languages and whether it is in fact an English dialect, an archaic survival of the colonial English spoken by indentured servants on the plantations of the North American Southeast.
They would try to figure it out. They were like, where did this come from?
Or a descendant of the 17th century.
They immediately was like, no, that's an African language. Watch this.
West African Pidgin language, end quote. It also goes on to say that there is a possibility that a form of decreolization has taken place within the language spoken in this part of America. as decreolization is the process by which a vernacular loses its basilectal or creole features under the influence of the language from which it inherited most of its vocabulary. The basilect is the variety that is the most divergent from the local standard speech. The consensus among linguists is that Ebonics is an American English dialect, differing from other dialects primarily in the higher statistical frequency of non-standard features, such as the merger of hasn't, haven't, and isn't, aren't.
See, they making up an excuse. They making up an excuse to how we pronounce our words. They trying to, and they still trying to, they don't know where it came from, right? They don't know. Watch them.
Even didn't, don't, in the case of Ebonics, in the form ain't, and the omission of copula in constructions such as Jesse very tall, Jesse's very tall. The latter features makes Ebonics typologically closer to Gullah and Caribbean English Creoles. It has therefore been interpreted by some linguists as evidence that Ebonics must have Creole origins. No consensus has been reached on the issue.
All right, so they didn't come up with it. No consensus has been reached on the issue. In other words, they couldn't give a final thought or an exclusive thought with evidence to back where this language came from, that we speak, okay? That we speak. Now, but they said, well, it's similar to Caribbean English in the Gullah. You know, down there in South Carolina and Georgia, you know, they all speak alike. For some reason, they got an accent. But y'all adopted that same accent, didn't y'all? I mean, I'm just saying, you pull up in Texas, a white man gonna sound the same as a black man with the same accent, right? Did you learn that in the Queen English? Where you learn that from, boy? Where you learn that from, boy?
End quote. Now, I think it is important to note here that the American English spoken in the southeastern parts of America, with the different inflections of tone and tongue, and also pertaining to words spoken, has confused many linguists that have chosen to not acknowledge the American Indian contribution to the language.
See there?
And instead of stating it as such, they have chosen to group the title of Ebonics to the people for their language, when in America...
Think about it, because we didn't come up with the term Ebonics. Think about it, because we didn't come up. We did not come up with that term. They did. That was their excuse.
Ebonics isn't held by the Niji as their official language. It is a slang derivative of certain words already spoken. So, according to this article, linguists were trying to figure out whether the English language spoken in Southeastern America was more Creole-like, or was it more like languages spoken in Africa, with them bearing the term African Americans. But what they realized was that the language was not like the African languages at all. So by default, it had to be more Creole. And even though the base of it was less like Creole in terms of wording and structure, they still labeled it as Creole. It is a Creole language with the justification that somehow over time it lost its Creole roots, henceforth the introduction of the term decreolization, meaning that it's actually not Creole at all.
See there?
Statistically, many of the places that have been colonized by European influence through a sudden immigration of Europeans, which include British, German, French, and the Dutch, along with any of their closely related family members, have over the years transported themselves into whatever countries they could reach by sea, which includes...
Hold on. Yes, I did. This is a book called Out of Africa. Called Out of Africa. Yes, I did. Hold up. You know. Hold on, because they said everybody came out of Africa. Everybody. They tried to say, but they not trying to say where they came from. Okay, not exactly. Not the pinpoint. They made them do that on the 2020 census. Why are we not seeing the results of the 2020 census and it's 2023? 3 years later, we still didn't see the results. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? Okay? You know what they hiding. It's quite obvious.
The United States, Canada defeated
Hold on. Let me go back.
European influence through a sudden immigration of Europeans, which include British, German, French, and the Dutch, along with any of their closely related family members, have over the years transported themselves into whatever countries they could reach by sea, which includes the United States, Canada, Australia, the Caribbean islands, Pacific islands, South Africa, and pretty much any land which they were able to sail to, which allowed them to eventually immigrate. And then
I know I showed this before, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white folks, right? And we just see 2 black folks. Like, who the slave right there, y'all? I'm just saying, who picking cotton? Oh my God, I'm gonna keep it
if
going.
allowed further, they migrated inward, trying to make English the first language of choice over any other language already present within these lands. This was in order to conduct business or trade, and each location eventually has its own dialect of English, as the first order of conquest always lies in communication and changing the language. English creates an angle of entry, taking any words already present and aligning them in a braided structure that, when spoken repeatedly, causes more harm than good.
Here you go.
Regardless of what was thought to be intended, what is spoken is usually meant.
Great Britain. I'm gonna go back. Great Britain. There go that map. Oh, I gave you the source if you don't believe me. Oh, look. There go the source right there. Oh, let me take this off. Here. Oh, I'm opening up over. Hold on. I'm on the wrong screen. Here. Take it. Come on, man. Stop playing. Come on. Y'all want it? Oh, man. Hold on. Here, you can have it. That's it right there. The land of the Vikings, huh? Great Britain. So the you gonna say the Anglo-Saxons made up English? So what the Anglo-Normans speak? Woo! Hey. I'm trying to tell you, these foreigners made up lie after lie after lie, y'all. And now it's just funny to me now because they didn't think, well, maybe they did. Maybe they felt as though we were eventually going to find out sooner than later. But I'm talking about they tried to erase things off the net, y'all. Me and my mother too. But me and my wife be laughing so hard, y'all. They try to erase so many sources. Oh, man. It's not, hey, look. I said, all right, okay. Like, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out now. If this was Great Britain and this was the Queen's English now, and how come y'all got to piece together other people's languages to create your own? It ain't the Queen's English. It's our English. It's our English. They took it. And they trying to hide it and say you speaking Ebonics. We actually speaking proper English. Can you believe that? Can you believe that we actually speaking proper English? Proper. That's right. And when they go and you go over there in England and they swear to God they speaking the Queen's English, you just using a different dialect, just like how we are over here. Over here, it's the same thing. They tried to hide this from our people. Not today.
It's go time, Slim.
Not today.
Relax and take notes. Take notes. Take notes.
All right, let's go back. I'm going to come back a little bit more. I want that point to be stretched across a little bit. Into whatever countries they could reach by sea, which includes the United States, Canada, Australia, the Caribbean. Shout out to Thunderbear. Thank you, Thunderbear. I appreciate that. Love you, brother. In islands, Pacific Islands, South Africa, and pretty much any land which they were able to sail to, which allowed them to eventually immigrate, and then if allowed further, they migrated inward, trying to make English the first language of choice over any other language already present within these lands. This was in order to conduct business or trade, and each location eventually has its own dialect of English, as the first order of conquest always lies in communication and changing the language. See there? English creates an angle of entry, taking any words already present and aligning them in a braided structure that, when spoken repeatedly, causes more harm than good. Ooh, that part right there, I'm going to clip that. I'm going to make that a short. Regardless of what was thought to be intended, what is spoken is usually meant for the downfall of the person speaking the English language. So they had an agenda. They had an agenda. So if you, okay, they wanted to make it seem as if what they spoke was the proper way. Everybody else is being downed by way of what they speak, saying that they were the first of this. First of that. That's a manipulation tactic. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got to get this back, y'all. It's real easy. It's easy. Well, it took them a while for them to get this done, but it was easy for them to do it. Why it ain't going to be easy for us to get it back and take it back over? Because it's a mental thing now. Shout out to Rico Wheat. He just dropped the gifted members. I appreciate that. That allowed people to become members. I appreciate that. That's love right there. Shout out to the brother for dropping the gifted members right there. Rico Wheat, appreciate you. Let me drop a bomb for you. Shout out to Michael Dade Church. I see you. Appreciate that, brother. Come on, let's get it in. Regardless of what was thought to be intended, what is spoken is usually meant for the downfall of the person speaking the English language. Why is this so? The word English broken in two by sound gives you English. And the etymology of ing is synonymous with ing and ang. The Middle English Dictionary places ing with ing and hang. Listen. The Oxford English Dictionary states that hang is a derivative of hang, and lish is a derivative of leash. So ultimately you get the true definition of English, which is a hang leash. It is something that can be used to tie or suspend the throat, to have control over, to keep in bondage. Now, the question is, woo! Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my wife. Hey, we be gay. Woo! Hey, another bomb. Oh my God, y'all. I gotta clip that one too. Look, this is, you can look this up. Like, seriously. I dare you. I dare you. Look this up. Why is this so? The word English broken in two by sound gives you they giving you their agenda right up front, right in front of your face. Their agenda is right in front of your face. Lish. And the etymology of ing is synonymous with ing and ang. The Middle English Dictionary places ing with ing and hang. Woo! The Oxford English Dictionary states that hang is a derivative of hang, and lish is a derivative of leash. So ultimately you get the true definition of English, which is a hang leash. See there? It is something that can be used to tie or suspend the throat, to have control over, to keep in bondage. So they not only doing it by way of you working. See, look at the agenda. Not only by way of you working, by the words that you speak. That's why they said it's a spell, a spelling. You're casting spells by the words that you speak. It's up to us. It's, oh man, y'all. With Dane, let's work on the stuff that's affecting us. This is affecting us now. Right now. T-Boo, thank you for the donation. T-Boo 3000, I appreciate that. Shout out to you. I'm gonna drop a bomb for that. I appreciate that. Hail Wisdom, I appreciate the love. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Shout out to you. Listen, y'all. We got work to do. We have work to do. Look at this. The mental, physical, to our speech, y'all. So people are having speech impediments without even knowing it. They actually casting spells and casting negative affirmations based on the words they speak. Look at how deep this is. And you know these people dealing magic. Magic can be dealt with the good and bad. I see people saying casting spells, straight witchcraft. I see y'all in the chat, and that's true. Magic can be good and bad. But just think about it. It would be good if they were doing this form of magic for themselves in a good way. Then who was it for in a bad way? The total opposite people of them. That's what I'm referring to. And who are they, Dane? The Anglo-Saxons. I already pointed this out. The island of Albion. That is Great Britain. Albion, the albinos. Woo! The island of Albion, the albinos, Great Britain, Anglo. All of them linking up. And then they threw it in the Bible and said, here it is. This is your history. And then they threw it in the Bible and said, here it is. This is your history. You got to learn it. The problem is that we didn't write stuff down. Keep in mind, we were using emojis on these walls. Ooh. We were using historic emojis on the walls to tell a story. Meanwhile, they was writing stuff down in broken English. Okay. Beloso, thank you for the gifted. I appreciate that, brother. Z-Pap, thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate that. 100. I appreciate that. Lynn Sacktown, I appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome. I appreciate you, sister. Let's go.
Now, the question is, why would someone go through all of this trouble to hide the true definitions and change the spelling of words? And where does this even come from? According to the Noah Webster Education Foundation, Noah Webster Jr., born October 16th, 1758, is widely known as the father of America's scholarship and education.
Hold on, y'all. This is so deep, y'all. Hold on, please. Listen, please.
Came of age during the time of the American Revolution. He was a strong supporter of the Constitutional Convention and dedicated his life to causes he believed would make a stronger nation. Noah Webster believed in the developing culture and independence of the United States. He thought that a distinctive American language was important to the success of the Union.
Don't forget that the Union was what? The Union States. Now, don't forget that they had the Continental Congress, the Union States. That was before it was separated. And then, North-South, and then ended up becoming United States. That's what he's referring to. He's referring to foreigners. Hold up. What was that? Okay, yeah. That's some notification on my computer. He's referring to foreigners with an agenda over here in America. Just note that. And then watch this.
His first effort to help with the unifying language was a compendious dictionary of the English language, the first truly American dictionary, which he published in 1806.
We got that. We got that. If you need that, write it down. I'm going to stay on here for a second. If you want to get the first one, write it down. Okay? This is it right here. Get it. If it's expensive. I can tell you that. I can't remember how much we paid for it, but it is expensive. Like, meaning that it's expensive for a book. The majority of these old books are expensive. I can tell you that right now. So, I mean, you're going to be paying $300 and up. You know what I mean? Just get ready for that. Like, I mean, if you're really into it, you got to pay. Unfortunately, that's how they do it.
He then expanded that effort by learning 26 different languages.
Listen.
Reflecting the languages of ethnic communities.
How? He then expanded that effort by learning 26 different languages. How? You know. This is BS here. He did not learn. Name a person that learned 26 different languages that the FBI ain't looking at right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? CIA ain't locked that person up. 26 different languages, y'all. And this is a quote.
These found in the United States. And in 1828, he published in America.
Reflecting the languages of ethnic communities found in the United States. Not Great Britain. Not France. Not Germany. Listen. He then expanded that effort by stealing from 26 different languages, reflecting the languages. Ain't no reflect. He is stealing directly from 26 different languages of ethnic communities, ethnic, Ebonics communities found in the United States. Here they are admitting that they got the English language from our people. Here they go. Noah Webster wrote it. This is from the Noah Webster Education Foundation. And I told you that they straight stole it, and they know they got it from us. Ain't no Queen English, none of that. They got it from us here. Us. And they know it. You just didn't. You know now. They found these communities, found this language. They found these languages of ethnic communities found in America and in United States. And then he published an American dictionary of the English language in 1828. Go ahead and I dare you. I don't care what you speak. You speak in our language. I don't care what language you pick. It could be Latin, French, German, all of that. All of it. You get bits and pieces from our language. 26 different languages? Nah, he not in jail. He held up high. This is his statue. He got a statue. He held up high. And in that same dictionary, 1828, the definition of American is a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here, meaning America in the United States, by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So you don't even have the right to call yourself American in the technical sense. In the technical sense. They took all of that. Keep in mind, this was their new world They had to make themselves fit in because they got kicked out of their original territories, their motherlands. Came over here, it took them years to make themselves at home. So they forced it by way of paperwork to make it seem as if this was their home, knowing that it wasn't. Capitalized on using the term native when they were not indigenous, aboriginal, original, primordial of this landmass at all. At all. Their ancestors can't go back thousands of years being from here. Not from here. That's for all of them. Anglo-Saxons, Anglo-Normans, that's all of them. But see, our people gotta understand this, that this is an issue. We allowing these foreigners to dictate who we are. They've been doing this ever since we started school, in elementary school. They've been doing this since they started school. How about that? Keep in mind, I showed you that in the other video. Started it. And they made sure it was official. They said it was the final straw to the extinction of the Indian tribes, 1819. Here go the final blow. Yeah, the Mormons, Vikings, Ottoman, all of them. The Ottoman Empire included a whole bunch of them, though. Here go the final shit. That's what they say. We're going to do it by way of paper. Here it is. Now, when you sit back and say, dang, wait a minute. So you telling me all of this. What does this amount to? I told you that this is paper genocide, baby. Paper genocide. Now, if you want to know who your enemies are, I'm breaking it down to you. I also told you what we got to do in order for us to take it back over. Don't dare say that I didn't. Once again, we got to start at the very root of the problem in order to correct that problem that we had at the root in the past. In the present time, we got to correct it now in order for us to have a better future. This was war. This is war. They did this to our people just so they could survive. Did we get a thank you? Did we get, and look, and we back begging to the government for reparations, knowing that the government know that they would not be here if it wasn't for us assisting. They would not be here if it wasn't for us assisting. We didn't get a thank you. We ain't get no plaque. We ain't get no statue. Nothing. We ain't in the history books correctly. Nothing. They wrote us out. Matter of fact, they ain't even write us in. How about that? They ain't even write us in. They made up characters and said that person did it. This person did it. Every time you do research on that person, they leading back to a foreign country. Never fails. So you won't trace that person and figure out if that person was real or not. Christopher Columbus. He discovered America, but you always got to give it to a foreigner. You know why? Because our people not going to look at the bigger picture, which is the fact that it's the enemy giving us the history. The enemy, not the winner, the enemy. Because if they won, we will be extinct. They didn't necessarily win anything. They just had an idea that worked. It took them a long time. This took them 100 years. Technically, 100 years. And I mean that. 100 years to get this done. And now, they tell you, okay, here go your book for your language. We got a foreigner telling us the definitions of our language, of our words. We didn't agree to that, but we following right along. Just like right now, the paper money that we got in our pockets and our wallets, we following along with that, saying, okay, it's of value. If we turn around and say they don't hold no value, matter of fact, let's make our own currency, what they gonna do? Throw us in jail? What they gonna do? That's why I said this government ain't worth a damn when it comes to us, our people coming to their senses to realize that we have been tricked into thinking that these strangers are in control. That's just like you saying, Jesus, take the wheel. No. You got that much faith in the unforeseen? What if that stranger take your will and sign it off to another person and say, here, now everything that's inside of that will you own. Notice I didn't use the car example yet, because if they took the wheel of your vehicle, they're going to steer you in the wrong direction. That's what they've been doing. So don't let strangers take your will, because if you don't have your will, you don't have no way. You don't have your own way. Don't let the stranger take your will. You won't have your own way. And yet you crying about not having your own way now. We gotta fix this. Got to. Take the wheel back over. Take it back over. Say, I got things from here. I appreciate that. I got things from here. I got it. Because I have my own mindset. I know what I'm doing is right. You could talk to yourself like this. Ain't nothing wrong with this. I know what I'm doing is right. I'm focused on the right path. I'm heading in the right direction. I got things from here. I got it. The last time I seen two wheels in a car, matter of fact, I haven't, but I was actually told about it when people go take their driver's exam and the instructor take the second wheel inside of that car. I didn't see that personally. I only seen it if you do something wrong, the instructor is pulling up that brake on you, telling you that you failed. I'm telling you right now, I've been driving since I was 14. I took that driver's exam. I made one right. The instructor said, okay, turn back around, Dane, you passed. I came out the parking lot, made it right. I did everything correct because I had control of my will, of my destiny. I made sure that I was in control. I was focused. I was zoned in onto what was going on around me and what was right in front of me. I did not allow an instructor or nobody to take control of nothing. I did that. And so can you. I'm talking about out the parking lot, made it right. Hey, the people back at home in D.C., the Brentwood one, up northeast. I'm talking about, I don't know if that's still there or not. I made that right. Coming up that hill to that light, that was it. Turn back around, Dane, you passed. That was it. I'm talking about 2 seconds. I came back. My wife was like, you failed? I said, no, I passed. Like, what you mean? Like, huh? I'm in control. The whole point was that I'm in control. And so can we got to get our people in control of their own will. Got to. And stop putting yourself down as if you gotta be belittled. That's the normal routine. No, it's not. Yeah, Montana Avenue. Yeah, Brentwood. Y'all know what I'm talking. Hey, DC State. Hey. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's still there. It's been some years since I've been there. Matter of fact, it's been some years since I've been there. Okay, in that position where I had to get a driver's license in DC. But I'm just saying. Yes. That's right. And the instructor was white. But Yeah, man. Look. All right. Now you know. If anybody say that it's the Queen's English, or it came from England. No, it didn't. Notice how not one word in the Noah Webster Educational Foundation mentioned anything about England when it comes to the English language. Not one word. Okay? All right. Here we go.
26 different languages, reflecting the languages of ethnic communities found in the United States. And in 1828, he published an American dictionary of the English language. Did you hear that? It said that he then expanded that effort by learning 26 different languages, reflecting the languages of ethnic communities found in the United States. Who do you think they're referring to here? It continues on by saying, in addition to helping shape the language usage of early Americans, right after that, Noah Webster was an education reformer and the author of several textbooks. He believed in the importance that citizens in the various states would have the opportunity to learn and acquire a similar knowledge base, creating a competitive advantage for all.
Hold up. Now, we know it wasn't a competitive advantage for all, unless you're referring to all incoming foreigners. If that's what you're referring to, notice how they're not being specific here. They just said all.
Quote, keep in mind that Noah Webster was executing all of his works during the time where citizenship was not available to the needy. So it is critical to grasp exactly what is meant here in regard to Noah Webster wanting the citizens in various states to have a competitive advantage. The Noah Webster Education Foundation goes on to say, while Webster published several successful textbooks, one of the most used was A Grammatical Institute of the English Language, otherwise known as the Blueback Speller.
Oh, that's another one. Get that too, y'all. If y'all see the Blueback Speller, get that also. That's a good one also, because now you're going to see different definitions change. Even before the 1828, it was in 1783. If you can find I don't think you guys are going to find the original anymore, but that's expensive. If you find the original, that's going to be between $1,000 to $2,000. I don't know if y'all want to do that on a book, but that's, I can't wait to show y'all my library. But that Blueback Speller is what they were handing out. Hold on, let me not give it away. You about to hear it. The Blueback Speller is another one though.
Books. One of the most used was A Grammatical Institute of the English Language, otherwise known as the Blueback Speller, in 1783. It became the staple for teaching children for well over a century and was central to the education of several generations of early Americans. Benjamin Franklin reportedly taught his granddaughter to read, spell, and pronounce words using Old Blueback. This work by Webster is credited with helping to build the most literate nation in the history of the West. Webster's focus on education emphasized the fundamental pillars of learning and knowledge. In time, those pillars became widely known as the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic, now known as reading, writing, and arithmetic.
See there?
The common understanding was that students who grasped these basic disciplines well would have the tools they needed to learn everything else required for their success in life. End quote. Noah Webster made multiple decisions detailing which words should be used in everyday language, all the way down to pinpointing exactly how they should be spelled. Why was spelling so important to the extent that many words that were around before Noah Webster's books, words well known by adults already, were decidedly changed? This gives power to the creator of such a thing, especially when dealing with children, as he advocated for a national language to be taught in schools, which would allow certain words to be used over others? Yeah. See, It is my hope that many people will comprehend the seriousness of such a matter. In fact, here's an example of how improper wording may cause detriment. In the final sentence quoted by the Noah Webster Education Foundation, it says, quote, "The common understanding was that students who grasp these basic disciplines well would have the tools they needed to learn anything else required for their success in life." Why was the word learn taught to be used when describing a way to gain knowledge versus the term apprendre, as in apprentice? The French term for learning is apprendre. The Spanish term is aprende. Instead, in America, we are taught to learn and comprehend, which means to lose something, to give a person something free of charge, like land in this sense, and everything else in between. Now, as we revisit the question, why would someone go through all of this trouble to hide the true definitions and the spelling of words? And where does this even come from? Well, the saying is, if you give someone enough rope, they'll hang themselves. And that is exactly what the words of the English language have done.
Hang leash. Hang leash. Going back to that. And we gotta fix this, y'all. We gotta fix this. But I know it was early when I first started. I really appreciate that for everyone that came out. You know, I'm going to continuously do this more often. I know I gotta fix up my setup because I moved everything around. But I'm gonna make it sound a lot better than it is right now. But let me shout out the Alvin Smith. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I'm gonna drop a bomb for you right there. Thank you. And Lisha Golden, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that, sister. Thank you so much. Michael Jewell, thank you for the donation. Thank you, brother, for the donation. I appreciate that. And all those likes and comments and shares, and even the viewers, I appreciate you all. Okay, I appreciate that. That helps this channel grow. That helps the message spread. Because once again, yes, I'm presenting it. My wife and I are presenting the message, but this is about teaching our people to excel in the things that we thought that we couldn't excel at, or we don't see it. Okay, we don't see it. But my thing is to let you know that we had it. We had it. Okay, we had it before. We could do it again. We could do it again. Yeah, it was planned. The Plandemic. That's why I said planned. This was already pre-planned. That's why I put in the title planned. Stopping the spread of the misinformation Plandemic. It was already planned. Okay, what up, Ricky? What's going on, brother? How are you? I believe the sister's name is Delilah. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Gratitude. I appreciate you, sister. Or Delilah. I believe it's Delilah, right? I hope I pronounced it correctly. Excuse me if I didn't pronounce it correctly. Lucy Love in the building. CEO Ball Styles. What's up, sis? See Easy. Yeah, apprentice means learn. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But notice how they use the term learn in replace of the word apprentice. For the English language and all other languages like French and Spanish use apprente or apprentice. There's a reason why. It's to take out what you know and they insert what they want you to know. That's a form of indoctrination. Take out, remove what you already know and replace it with what they want you to know. That's indoctrination. To comprehend. To comprehend. That's what I meant at the last part of that. Yeah, to put their own spin to it. Whether we love when you go live, a long way of research or doing your love. We love, hold on. Traders and watchers continue to, okay, yeah. I appreciate that. And shout out to our ancestors for always holding it down, because we got their backs, their fronts, their sides. We doing this for them. They waiting on us. We are the new generation that's going to take over the torch and light everything up. Make everything bright enough so we can see clear. Lead the rest of our people down the right path for where we were supposed to go before we got distracted and thrown off of the main course. Because the main course of action here is to do what we got to do for our people, to get ourselves set up to do the right thing, or with doing the right thing, to see ourselves excel for generations to come, including this generation here. Our children are dependent on us. Our ancestors are dependent on us. Okay? Now, it's already been like, that's why I like when certain people add in certain scriptures. Do that. If you know that it's matching with certain verses in the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, put it in there. Because because people that follow a religious belief can see how this is all linking together in that way. In fact, I am going to have some people on the channel doing that to let you know what's going on. I mean, I'm talking about on a religious side of things as well, so you can see how that all that tie together. Like, even though I'm trying on my side, but I know I don't do the entire religious thing. I don't connect it with that because I'm very unbiased. So I'm going to have multiple different people from multiple, their religious walks or their religious beliefs and stuff like that. I'm going to have them come on the channel and they're going to give their take on that on this channel. I'm going to let them do that because it is a lot that was, especially in the Bible. Keep in mind in the earlier video before that. Oh, was it this one? Was it this one? No. I think it was, the video before this one, I was showing you how it connected to the Bible, the books, Biblios, the book. So if you want to hide something from the people, you put it in a book. I know you heard that before, but it's the reason why. And how they had to craft the stories in order for you to know or not know that it is talking about you. It is talking about you, but not of a different landmass. It happened right here. It happened right here. This is the reason why the missionaries came over here with their books in their hand, hoping that you will submit, hoping that they could quell the revolts from happening of their intrusion upon our land. They were hoping it was going to work. In certain cases it did. But it's not something, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a temporary measure. That's something that is temporarily in place. It's temporary from the get-go. All of this stuff could be changed in a moment's notice. You know this. Even my religious people out there, y'all know this. This is, it's already been prophesized. It's already been, that's why they know they got to work as hard as they are in order to keep up or keep themselves up, because you know what's about to happen to them. They got it coming because karma works both ways. If you do bad among your people or other people, whatever, if you do bad in general, bad gonna come back to you. If you do good in general, good is gonna come back to you. Karma works in both ways. So if you pre-planned this thing, a plandemic, about how you were going to succeed at making the Americas, meaning North, Central, and South, become your new home by pushing away the indigenous people who are my people of both North, Central, and South America and the surrounding islands, Turtle Island, and you ain't think, and for you to believe that you ain't got it coming, you got another thing coming. This is the reason why they work in dark magic. They work behind the scenes. They try to elevate themselves up so that won't take place on them, but their power is weakening by the minute, by the day, by the hour, the week, the year. They're becoming weak. They are becoming, and have been weak and weak and weak, year after year after year. This is happening, and they know it. That's why I say it's inevitable, and I already seen it. Thank thank the Great Spirit for allowing me to see that that's happening. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do my part, okay, for that to take place sooner than later. Because I'm not trying to wait a whole nother 20 to 50 years for something to happen. That's why I said if you want to do something about it, whatever it is that you could bring to the table, again, this is free. I want you to click the link, join the 13% community server, put it out there of what you can bring to the table, and be for real. If you're not serious, don't even worry about it. Okay, don't even waste the time. Just you know, it's okay. If you're looking from afar, fine. We know the haters watching on top of that. Let them watch, because they learning too. Let the haters watch, because they learning too. And I ain't talking about the haters. Don't even, if you a hater, don't even click the link. Just, no. You can click off all that. But I'm talking about some serious, like-minded people. No matter your walk of life as far as your religious belief, I still love you, brother, sister. I still love you. I know what's going on. When y'all say, hey y'all, that's our language. When you praising the Great Spirit like that, or uprising the Great Spirit like that, when you saying, I am, hey y'all, higher, you bringing yourself up spiritually. You're calling on your ancestors. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to calm down. You telling them that you need them right now. Thank you. Give me the power. Give me the strength right now, because what I got to do is going to take all of us at one time to get it done. All of us, no matter your walk of life. We're going to go higher and higher, and they can't stop it. And they know it. It ain't to be stopped. Shout out to Ricky Cherry. Thank you, brother. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Kevin Williams, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that, brother. Miss Jackson, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you, sister. Who that? Rise in Greatness with Prince David. Thank you for the donation, Prince David. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Brooklyn Chief 718. Oh, I see a wolf in there. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm going to make sure my wife and I put out the other books that's getting ready to come. Be on the lookout for that. Yes, it's true. I am working on music. People been asking. I'm going to put it out. And it's going to be educational. I'm not doing I'm about to rob and steal and blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing none of that. It's going to be educational. Anything that I do is going to be educational and uplifting my people. I know the youngins want to hear the music. I got y'all. Even the people my age. I'm not knocking y'all. I got y'all. Jessica, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. I love y'all. Keep going higher and higher. Keep going higher. Stay up, y'all. Tell it, Tay. I thank you. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Let me get up out of here. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good day. Okay, I'm going to see y'all soon. Wado.
I'm just here to make you think.